namers. Welcome one, welcome all. It's time to rock and roll, so give me an amen. Now, how about a hallelujah? Oh, yeah. Get ready for liftoff.
T-minus 10, 9,
8, 7, come on.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition. Liftoff. Liftoff.
All right, folks, here we go. Get ready. Hold on to your hats. Strap on your seatbelt. Fasten your seatbelts. Hold on to your hats. Get ready for the ride of your life. The show with no name time. On Fun Radio. It's the show with no name. Let's go. Come on. All right, amigos. Welcome one, welcome all. Show with no namers. It is an absolute pleasure to have you here with us. And close, really close now. Christmas. Yeah, it's like less than 2 weeks away. Oh my God. Have you done your Christmas shopping yet? Well, if you haven't, stop by Von Tienda. That's right, vontienda.com. And you can find out about all our awesome deals going on for the holiday season. That's right, folks. Let me see what we've got here. La Tienda, Von Tienda. Where is it? Can't find it. Von Tienda, that's the one. Von Tienda, promociones, descarga los audios. Oh, I can't find it. Qué bueno. Thanks, Google. Well, I'm finding grupovon.com, but vontienda.com doesn't come up. That's not good. I don't know very much about CEO or SEO or whatever the fuck they call that marketing vocabulary. But that's good. That is not good. Well, either way, folks, you've got amazing materials. If you're following us on social media, you'll find out about everything we've got right now. And one of the coolest things, one of the things I can't wait to get my hands on is De Texas a España. It is Richard Vaughn's autobiography. Also, remember, we've got our masters, too.
¿Te gustaría abrir puertas a nuevas oportunidades y estar listo para cualquier desafío? Con el máster de inglés del Grupo Vaughan podrás transformar tu futuro. Este programa intensivo te ayudará a dominar el inglés profesional, perfeccionar tu comunicación y ganar la confianza que necesitas para conseguir tus objetivos. Nuestros profesores Vaughan especializados te prepararán para afrontar en inglés todas las situaciones de comunicación en un entorno profesional. No dejes que el inglés sea una barrera. Invierte en tu futuro con el máster de inglés profesional del Grupo Vaughan. Llámanos al 91-133-5833 o entra en grupovaughan.com.
That's right, folks. Our master's program, we've got an evening master's, we've got a part-time master's, and then we've got full-time. So it just kind of depends on a couple things. Your schedule. Remember, the British, they don't say schedule, they say schedule. Vamos a repetirlo. So, la forma correcta, la americana, evidentemente, schedule. Okay? The British, schedule. Yeah, we don't agree there. So, it depends on your schedule. Do you have time to do it full time? That's awesome. And if you don't, well, no worries, because you can do it in the evenings, you can do it on weekends. And the other thing it depends on, obviously, too, is your budget. Tu preço. I know things are tough, right? Even at the supermarket, I mean, prices of things are exorbitant. I mean, it's insane. I remember I used to buy those potato chips, the ones in the bag. Oh, there's another one. The British call them crisps. Los de bolsa. We call them chips. They call los calientes chips, and we call them fries. So we don't agree on anything there. Not even potatoes. Ni patata, as you say. Ni papa. So what was I getting at? I forgot. Oh, and I used to buy, the typical thing where you're checking out, estás pagando en el súper, and you're like, bueno, 99 cents, 99 centimos. I'll throw a bag of potato chips in there, the jamon ones or the salt and vinegar. And now that they're €2.50, that's like, what kind of increase is that? That's more than double and a half. You know what my answer to that was? Fuck you and your potato chips. You just did me a favor. O sea, ya no entran en mi casa. That's the greatest thing that could ever happen. So thank you, Ruffles. Thank you, Lay's, Pringles, all you guys. Thanks for making your junk food so expensive. Because I used to buy it because it was cheap. And now that you've made it expensive, you've saved years off my life and my budget. Mi preso. Volviendo a lo importante. So, great. Thank you. A big shout out to Lay's, which I believe is Pepsi company, for almost tripling the price of your potato chips. You saved my life and my cholesterol. It's amazing. I appreciate it. You made my decision really easy. Because you always know when you buy that shit, and that's exactly what it is. That's not food. I tell my daughter all the time, that is not food. Do not get confused. Food is what your abuela makes, what mommy makes, what I make. Food is not that, okay? Well, in the United States, as you know, we have a serious problem with what we think food really is. And I honestly, I was like, wow, because, you're like 99 cents. Who cares? Another euro on the price. Fine. $2.50 for the same thing. And half of it is air. Thank you so much for making my decision so simple. Big shout out to Lay's, Pepsi, and all these people who are poisoning people. I'm not going to let you poison me anymore, especially now that it's so damn expensive, All right, so amigos, what you're going to get here, though, is the opposite. We don't do junk food. We do good habits. We're always working on enriching ourselves, not just with English, but with wellness as well. Remember, we even have a program, which is called The Hour to Empower with Jessica Fernandez, where it talks all about healthy habits and bringing out the best version of you. And I believe all of us, like, aside from teaching English, are trying to spread positivity in a world full of junk food and toxic relationships and toxic social media and glorification of violence and alcoholism. You know what I'm talking about. So this is a safe place, un lugar seguro, where you won't get any junk, not junk food, not junk, just good old English with a little bit of pizzazz, un poco de energía, un poco de chispa. All right, amigos, let's kick off with today's pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Yeah. Let's go. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. That's right, amigos. This is our pop quiz. And as always, the pop quiz section is sponsored by one of our materials from our Von Tienda. Yesterday, we looked at natural English. We've looked at so many different materials. We've looked at essential English. And today, we're taking a look at something wacky, something zany. Do you know this word? Zany, algo loco, something zany. And that is, this book is The Milk 2. It's the second book in the Milk trilogy. But it's my third book because remember, my first book is called English Everywhere. Either way, you can get all 5 of my books over at, you know it, vontienda.com. So listen carefully, and as always, I'll have a challenge or two for you right after.
Alberto, do you know what time it is?
It's beer o'clock.
Yes, sir, it is. It is indeed.
I like how you use the indirect question. Bravo, buddy.
Thank you, Alberto. Yeah, it's very, in fact, do you use it very often, or is better to use the direct one?
Do you want to be polite or impolite?
Well, sometimes I want to be polite, of course.
Well, especially if you're asking somebody for something, you want to be polite. So solemos usar, yo nunca me acercaría. I would never go up to somebody and say, what time is it? Where's the subway?
Yeah.
I would say, do you know what time it is? Y cambia. Lo que pasa, la indirecta coge la misma estructura que la afirmación. Do you know what time it is? It is 11 o'clock. O sea, su respuesta va a ser la misma estructura. Do you know where the metro is? The metro is 2 blocks away. Y podemos poner, do you know? I have no idea, porque ahí no es pregunta. I have no idea where the metro is. Deja de ser pregunta. So it's always better to be more polite, especially when we're in a city where we don't know people and we're asking for directions or information.
Okay, now ask me for a direction, but in the most polite way you can, please.
Pardon me, sir. Would you mind telling me where the closest library is?
Beautiful. What about this one? Excuse me, sir. You wouldn't happen to know where the metro station is, would you?
That's excellent. Y has usado question tags. Damián, are you showing off? ¿Estás presumiendo? But you should show off. Ojo, yo le digo a mis alumnos, show off your English. Absolutely.
Yeah. Always, especially if you're drunk. That's the right moment to do it.
What about that age-old myth, milenario, that age-old myth, and that says, oh, I speak English better after a few beers?
Yeah.
No, you lose your inhibitions and you lose your fear of speaking, but it doesn't mean you speak better.
Yeah, but it's a very important thing to do, to forget about shyness.
Yeah.
Just get rid of it because it will never help you. If you make mistakes, listen to me. I'm always making mistakes, even recording with Alberto, and I shouldn't, but still, just do them.
Damián, I make mistakes in English. Why?
No way.
Well, I don't mean grammar mistakes. I get tongue-tied. I'm speaking quickly. My mind is going in. You know it in Spanish.
Yeah.
¿Que dices todo perfecto cuando hablas español?
I don't.
¿Te sale cada frase como has querido?
No,
has
never.
dicho, eso ha sonado de culo.
I wish.
Pues nos pasa a todos, a lo que digo. Ahora, si no vas corrigiendo los errores que cometí, that's when I start to get upset.
Yeah.
But making mistakes is part of the process. English is a breeze. But I think, you don't have to drink alcohol to speak English, to loosen up.
Okay, breeze. Let's talk about it because there is this drink, breezer.
Yeah, breezers. What are they? They're like wine coolers, right?
Kind of, yeah.
It's like this carbonated, fruity. You get really drunk. It's like rebujito. You have a couple and you're like, whoa, what just happened?
It's like just a drink because it's already mixed up.
Yeah, sure. We call them a lot of these. They're very popular, much more in the United States than in Spain. These wine coolers, these breezers, and it's just like alcohol mixed with very fruity stuff, and it goes down real easy in the summer.
Yeah. So let's talk about the pronunciation of breezer because that Z is complicated for us.
Yeah, zzz. Yeah. I always tell my daughter when we're looking at these words, because we pronounce words, la abeja. Zzz.
Yeah.
So, y hasta palabras que no tienen Z suenan así. Fácil.
Easy.
Fácilmente.
Easily.
Muy bien. Facilidad.
Ease.
Muy bien.
Ooh.
Zzz.
Is complicated.
It's not complicated. I tell my students, once you can make the sound once, you can make it a million times. It's a breeze, que significa pan comido.
Okay. What about Bloody Mary? Because again, blood. Why is it blood and not blood?
Well-
Blood.
Well, it's blood. That's how we pronounce it, like flood, inundación. So, and the verb, do you know the verb?
To blood.
To bleed.
To bleed. Exactly.
Is bleed, bled, bled.
Yeah.
And the British love this word because they say bloody like maldito.
Yeah.
Mate, he's a bloody bastard.
Bloody hell.
But hey, you know, I always tell people it's one of the greatest places to mingle, mezclar, con nativos. In Madrid, we're very lucky. There are tons of Irish pubs, and they are full of, where do you think the guiris go when they come to Madrid to watch the footy on the telly?
And the footy on the telly. Crazy.
They go down to the local pub for a couple of pints of lager, mate.
you nail it, huh?
Bueno, esto de hablar idiomas va de imitar. Quiero que intentéis siempre imitar lo que oís.
Okay, the last one. We would say in Spanish, Mountain Dew. But how do you pronounce
Lo has dicho demasiado bien. Mountain.
Mountain Dew.
Mountain Dew.
Mountain Dew.
Dew suena como hacer, que es rocío.
El rocío de la mañana.
Mountain Dew, right. But also, it was this illegal liquor. También Mountain Dew era moonshine. Este licor que se hacía en mis tiempos. Ahora no, ahora es el refresco. Pero en aquel entonces, Mountain Dew was like moonshine.
Como el brillo de la luna.
No, lo llaman licor casero.
Sí, como licor café de Galicia.
You know those ones. Stay away from the Mountain Dew in general.
Nice. That's a nice thing to know.
All right, folks. This book is The Milk 2. That's the audio from it. Remember, you can pick up that book along with many other awesome materials over at vontienda.com. All right. Now, we looked at a lot of interesting vocabulary over there, but I want to focus on these indirect questions, right? Because I would never, like I told Damian in the audio, I would never walk up to a complete stranger and say, "What time is it?" Never in a million years. No me saldría. Excuse me. Could you tell me? Do you know? Right? You wouldn't happen to know. Da la casualidad, as we said. So, yes, we use indirect speech. Of course we do. In fact, it sounds quite rude if where's the library? Excuse me? Right? Could you tell me where the library is? Ahora sí. Now you sound polite. And remember this. If you're asking for information, if you're the one who needs information, it's better to always be polite, right? People will give you that information. As we say, you attract more flies with honey than with vinegar. Now, es raro porque ¿quién quiere atraer las moscas? Pero entiendes la expresión, ¿no? You attract more flies with honey, siendo dulce, bueno, than with vinegar. Amargado right? So it's true. We've always got to be polite, especially when we're the ones who need something. If you're asking somebody for something, well, you might as well be as polite as possible. All right, well, let's take a look. I'm going to give you some questions, and I'm not even going to give them to you in English. And what I want you to do is I want you to give me the indirect question here. So, quiero que seas polite, okay? El do you know? Could you tell me? Would you mind telling me? O sea, si quieres usar las tres, usa la que quieras. The idea is to put it into indirect speech and to see if you're doing it correctly. All right, so the first one, estás paseando por Nueva York y dices, ¿me podría decir cuánto se tarda en llegar a la boca de metro o al metro más cercano? Okay, remember we call it the subway. Metro is really like a European thing. So, me podría decir o me ¿Sabría usted? Remember, it's got to be indirect speech. So it's, yo te doy en indirecto. ¿Me podría decir cuánto se tarda en llegar a la parada de metro más cercano? That's number one. No te lo voy a dar ni en direct speech. ¿Por qué? I want to see if you know it without giving you the direct question. And then we'll look at it. Vamos a ver ambos, okay? We'll look at the direct question and the indirect. But I want you to give me the indirect one, con algo delante, okay? The next one. ¿Me podría decir de quién son esas, what do you call them? I always forget this word. Esos jerseys? Let's see what you call it. A ver. Esos jerseys, yeah, lo llamáis jerseys, which is weird because a jersey in English es un uniforme de baloncesto, de lo que sea, right? A soccer jersey. So, cuidado con esa. We don't call it a jersey, okay? It's a false friend if I've ever seen one. So, ya manteniendo el espíritu navideño de jerseys feos, no, that's part of in fact, we have a Christmas party this weekend where it's ugliest, no voy a decir la palabra, jersey contest. O sea, el que lo tiene más feo gana. La familia que tiene los jerseys más feos gana la competición. So, me podría decir, o usted sabe, again, be polite with me, ¿de quién son esos jerseys? No son jerseys, ¿no? O yo creo que son jerseys, ¿eh? ¿De quién son esos jerseys? Esos, aquellos. No quiero estos, aquellos. Eso es muy importante porque a veces cuando hago esta pregunta, alguien me da un this en vez de un that y no es lo mismo. Esto es página 1 del manual Vaughan. ¿Ok? Me da igual si pones toda la frase perfecta, pero no sabes la diferencia entre esto y aquello. So, lo repito. Bueno, ahora repito las tres. And the last one, ¿me podría decir, o como tú quieras, ¿te importaría decirme si va a haber una fiesta de Navidad este año? All right, all three of these I want as indirect questions. All right, I'll repeat them again. The first one, ¿me podría decir? ¿No? Lo que quiero es que seas muy polite con estas preguntas. ¿Cuánto se tarda en llegar a la parada de metro más cercano? Parada cercana, la parada cercana, ¿ves? Tengo que pensar, ¿qué dije antes para... o sea, en español te tienes que acordar del principio de la frase para terminar la frase, en inglés no. Eso es algo estresante para mí. I'm like, wait, ¿era él o era? Right? I know it comes out for you naturally, but I'm like, ¿es él o la aquí? Y luego digo, ¿de qué estoy hablando? O sea, yo tengo que volver a hacer rewind en la frase para saberlo. So, the second one. ¿Me podría decir, o otra forma polite de decir, ¿de quién son estos jerseys? ¿De quién son estos jerseys feos? Ya, es que estamos de Navidad. And the third one, ¿sabría o me podría decir, sabe usted si va a haber una fiesta de Navidad este año? There you go, ladies and gentlemen. We got some difficult structures there too. O sea, no solo es la indirecta que estamos viendo cuánto se tarda, que es una estructura que veo muchos errores, pero por eso lo vamos a ver en la forma directa e indirecta. Number 2, ¿de quién? Siempre hasta los niveles más altos fallan con el ¿de quién es tal cosa? ¿Ok? And the last one, va a haber. That one's tough too. Bastante chungo. And as I said, by the end of today's pop quiz, you won't have any problem. You'll know how to ask these questions both directly and indirectly, amigos. And why do you think in the Vaughan method, porque si habéis hecho clases con nosotros, es dile a él que me pregunte a mí, ¿por qué hacemos eso? Para que practiques el indirect speech. He wants, y luego Richard, ¿sabes? What does he want to know? He wants to know what time it is, right? Y así no solo estás practicando el qué hora es, pero quiero saber qué hora es. Él quiere saber qué hora es. No sé qué hora es, porque ahí la estructura cambia Totalmente. So that is your pop quiz, amigos. And right now, we have got to go to a quick commercial break. Can't believe it. That's the first part of the show, done and dusted. Jeez Louise. Time really does fly, guys. We've got to make the most of every moment. We've got to savor every moment. ¿Te suena? Saborear. Savor, con V en inglés. We have to savor every single second. All right, folks, we'll be right back with much more Show with No Name. So, stick around. Hello, amigos. Welcome back. You're not going to believe what just happened during the break. Oh, my God. Holy shit. Right now, I'm holding my desk up with my elbows, con mis codos. Why? One of the legs, una de las patas, just broke off. Se acaba de romper. I swear to God. So right now, my desk has 3 legs. Oh, shit. Well, I'll explain something. If in the middle of the show you hear crash and it goes black, you'll know why. Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm holding it here with my weight. I don't know how long this is going to last here. Whew. All right. Well, I'll tell you something, folks. The show must go on, but... oh, man, because I can't fix it right now. It actually broke. And it's not like a screw or something. I have to go buy, like, super glue. Super glue, este pegamento bestial que tienen. And I hope that works. I can't afford a new desk. No está en el precio. Hablando de precio. Yeah, guys, I don't make big bucks, as you know. But, I can afford some glue. Let's hope the glue... well, let's hope it lasts. Esperemos que dure. Because right now, I'm nervous. Because if another leg breaks, because now all the pressure is on 3 of the legs. So if another leg breaks, my computer and everything is going to be on... like, everything will fall to the ground. So, just so you know, if you hear crash and everything goes black on the video, I'm okay. But my computer might not be, and I hope it's not the case because I can't. I've had this computer for 9 years, and I cannot get a new one. So please pray for me, reza por mí, pray for my desk and that I can keep this thing up because, wow, this is pretty crazy right now. I'm literally like leaning on this corner so it doesn't break. But again, if another leg breaks, there's nothing I can do. Everything is just going to fall and hopefully not break. I just hope the computer, if the desk breaks, all right, let the computer not break, please. My equipment is all I have. Oh, my goodness. Well, here we are. I made it by hook or by crook. Aquí estoy, como sea. So, but you're going to see, you're not going to see my hands very much because I'm putting all my weight on this corner so the other corner doesn't fall. Oh, geez, my God. Anything else? A lightning bolt? Un relámpago, ya que estamos? Jeez Louise. All right, well, as I said, the show must go on, but I wanted to give you an explanation. If you see me acting weird, like, oh, shit, or with a face like, uh-oh, that means things are about to get crazy around here. But I just hope that... that this thing will hold, que aguante. All right, well, folks, now it's time for today's Say What soundbite. Say what? Say what soundbite. All right, well, luckily I've got some boxes in my office. You know, boxes that my daughter can't see. Santa gave them to me. You catch my drift. And I just put one and some books in that corner. O sea, he puesto unos libros. Mira, los libros de Vaughan. no solo sirven para aprender inglés, pero para aguantar una mesa. Esperemos. Jeez, Luis, es que no he visto nada en mi vida así. De repente digo, ¿por qué esa? Why is that corner of the desk going down? And I looked and the leg was on the floor. All right, well, it's going to have to hold up. I'm going to fix it afterwards. But I can't do it during the show. So right now, I've done what I could, folks. You know, that's all you can do in life. I kind of did like a little botched job. Una chapucilla aquí. And I'm going to guess that this desk was made in, you know where. China, baby. Thank you, China, for quality products. Thank you, PepsiCo, for all the salt, sugar, and chemicals we can't pronounce. Hey, it's a direct reflection of what the food is today, too, right? The quality of things is... I mean, look at something like the Apple iPhone. When it came out, it was superior quality. Now it's just another phone, you know? There's nothing that separates it from anything else. Unless I'm an Apple user, I have to use Apple. Well, that's my excuse, but really? I haven't seen a big difference in iPhones in the past 10 years, really. Okay, maybe the camera, but is that, I mean, unless you're maybe you're an influencer, then that's an important thing, you know? But remember what I call influencers, influenzas. Yeah, porque son como una gripe. No, están en todas partes y da igual. You open up your Instagram, it's like, hi, let me tell you 5 tricks. And you're like, really? I don't follow you. Why am I seeing this? So, all right, amigos, here is your Say What soundbite. Today, it's a little bit long, okay? Un poco largo, so don't worry if you don't get it all. Again, this is more about you learning how to listen to and understand different accents, being also able to summarize, and being able to take notes or dictation when you hear something. Okay? So, my amigos, here's your Say What soundbite for the first time.
And he said, Frank, do me a favor, will you? He said, I'm sitting with a very pretty girl, and I'm trying to make out, you know. And he said, I told her I know you, and she really doesn't believe me. Would you stop by the table? I said, all right. I was just about finished. I was down to the espresso. And finally, he went back, and I walked by the table, and I said, how are you, Don? Nice to see you. He said, can't you see I'm eating, Frank?
All right. So, as I said, a little bit long. And obviously the person's name is Frank, right? He said he's telling a story about how someone was talking to him, and the guy's name is Frank. I think at least we can get that from it. Now, it's not Frank like Frankenstein from yesterday's program where we looked at young Frankenstein. We heard Terry Garr talking about Schwanzstukas. Oh, he has an enormous Schwanzstuka. All right, let me give it to you a second time, and then we'll take a look at your pop quiz answers. I see we've got a lot of people participating. So here we go. Say What soundbite for the second time.
And he said, Frank, do me a favor, will you? He said, I'm sitting with a very pretty girl, and I'm trying to make out, you know. And he said, I told her I know you, and she really doesn't believe me. Would you stop by the table? I said, all right. I was just about finished. I was down to the espresso. And finally, he went back, and I walked by the table, and I said, how are you, Don? Nice to see you. He said, can't you see I'm eating, Frank?
Hey, Damian, what's crack-a-lackin', buddy?
Hey, Alberto, I was planning to do some sports this week. What about playing baseball?
Ooh, baseball. I love it. But I'm not sure yet. Can we touch base next week?
Touch base. Estamos en contacto, ¿no? Hablamos en algún momento. Yeah, okay. Let's touch base. Okay, what about basketball? Do you want to play basketball?
Oh, man, I love basketball. It's one of my favorite sports. But I don't know if I can this weekend because I've already got plans. Oh, man, that's the way the ball bounces.
That's the way the ball bounces. Así están las cosas, ¿no? Así bota la pelota. Así bota la pelota. That's the way the ball bounces. I love that expression. Okay, what about tennis? Do you want to play tennis?
Well, I love tennis, but I'm not really a good player.
If you don't mind playing with a novice, the ball's in your court, buddy.
La bola está en mi campo, ¿eh? La pelota está en mi tejado. All right. Do you want to play some soccer?
Sure, I'd love to play some soccer or football, as you call it. What time do we kick off?
Perfect. We're kicking off at 9. Are you available?
Sure, but I might have to play some golf before with some friends. It's par for the course.
It's par for the course. Es lo normal, ¿no? Es lo normalito, lo que se hace.
Mhm.
Okay, what about billiards? Do you like playing billiards?
Yeah, but right now I'm behind the 8 ball.
I'm behind the 8 ball. Estás detrás de la bola 8, como que llevas las de perder.
Yeah, wow, a lot of idiomatic expressions here.
Muy buenas expresiones. Si es que así da gusto aprender inglés con un profe como Alberto y un poquito de creatividad, tienes This Book is the Shit. El mejor libro para aprender inglés que te has echado a la cara in your life. Píllatelo, vas a disfrutar mogollón de dibujos para que lo aprendas todo fácil, con conexiones lógicas y divertidas. Es la manera más sencilla y más divertida de aprender inglés. No te la pierdas.
Damián, you're such a good sport. Te enrollas. You can pick up your copy of This Book is the Shit at
vaughantienda.com.
It's the Shit. That's right, folks. This book is the shit. It's available at Vaughan Tienda, as with many other materials, including De Texas a España. It's Richard Vaughan's latest book, and it's his autobiography, his much-anticipated autobiography. All right, let's see what we've got going on over here. We've got a lot of people checking in our chat. Born to Iron Man in the house. What's up, Born to Iron Man? Great to have you with us. As always, great job in our spelling bee yesterday. Whoa, that was crazy. That was a tough one. Also, we've got Laura. Laura says, good morning, lovely show with no namers. Christmas is around the corner. Time flies. Yeah, it's true. In fact, our last show of the year is next Friday. So not tomorrow, not the 13th, but the 20th of December. They'll be taking the Vaughan Radio break that we always take for a couple weeks, and gives you some time to be with your family, your loved ones, right? But we'll be back. We'll be back, as always, in January. So you want to make the most of the shows we've got left in 2024. And what a crazy year it's been. I don't know about you guys, but for me, 2024 has been a test. Una prueba. And I won't fail. Nope. No. I'll come through it in one piece. En una pieza, como decimos. Ileso, I think you say. Let's see. Chris Valrol says, rise and shine, show with no namers. Hello, Chris. Great to have you with us, as always. Chris says also, I see eye to eye. They've done us a favor by raising the prices of French fries exorbitantly. The only thing is, I wasn't talking about French fries. I was talking about chips, potato chips. Probably French fries too, I imagine. But remember, los británicos, los de bolsa, no son fries. Son los crisps. Crisp, porque son crispy, no? Crisps, if you're British, and potato chips, if you're English. Y luego las patatas calientes. No, espera, a ver si me voy a liar yo ahora. Vamos por partes. Las de bolsa en mi país se llaman chips. Las de bolsa en Inglaterra se llaman crisps. Las de freidora en mi país se llaman fries. Las de freidora en Inglaterra se llaman chips, como las nuestras de bolsa. So just be careful, because a lo mejor pides uno y te dan el otro, y tú pensabas, pero no son chips estos. So, and yes, but I'm sure, Chris, French fries as well. Las patatas fritas calientes también. Todo. O sea, the only thing this has done is I don't eat out very much. I like to eat at home because I've got a weird stomach. Mi estómago es especial, okay? And I notice it. Every time I eat out, I'm like, that was good, but it's too salty or it's too, and then we won't talk about the price of everything. So the only thing they've done is made my life easier, made my decisions easier. Oh, okay. Well, if you're going to charge, that much for a hamburger, like, a piece of bread and some beef, some ground beef, well, I'll make my own and they'll taste better. And I won't put any of those weird chemicals you can't pronounce. That's a rule I like to live by. Una regla, me guío con esa regla. If you can't pronounce it, don't eat it. That's real simple. Benzomethylene number 75, or if it has a number in it. Si tiene número o no lo puedes pronunciar, stay away. Y eso es la mayoría de las cosas que ves. Look at it. Is there anything now that's one ingredient? I don't know. It's weird. Especially in Spain, where you guys come from a culture of eating well. I'm going to beg you as a nation, do not follow in the United States' footsteps. Not with food, at least. Please, keep your traditions of eating well and lentils, lentejas, and trust me, you don't want to end up like the American population and food. And I think everybody knows we've got a serious problem with, it's the first time in history, people are dying from eating too much, not from hunger, but from obesity, from overeating. It's very sad, very, very sad. And it hits every family. I've got it in my family. In my country, every family has at least one or two obese members, if not morbidly obese. And it's sad. That's tragic, because all they did was ate foods they thought were okay. But obviously not if they're having all these problems later. So you got to treat, we say in English, la expresión es, me encanta en inglés. Your body is a temple. No sé si lo decís en español. Tu cuerpo es un templo. O sea, tienes que ser muy consciente de lo que pones en ese templo. Your body is a temple. Entonces, lo que entra, it's really important. What you put into it. All right. And that's not just consuming food. I mean, like the media you watch, the social media accounts you follow, all of that is part of what you consume, right? All right, let's see. Chris says one thing is food, alimentos, like groceries, como decimos nosotros. And another very different thing is edibles. Well, comestibles. Well, edibles in my country means cosas con marihuana. Los gummies estos, those are edibles. Ya que es legal ahí. Now, if you say the word edible in my country, people are going to be like, what flavor? So, yeah, I know what you mean. Junk and real food, right? I think of it this way. Was it grown on a farm or was it made in a lab? And if it's the latter, la segunda opción, stay away. Stay away. All right, let's see. Chris says the shame is that prices of interesting and nutritious foods have also gone up. No. When I meant everything. But what they've done is, made my decision about eating unhealthy a lot easier. Because sometimes it was more of, por $1 me dan una hamburguesa, unos nuggets. And now it's like 8 euros. Stick it up your ass. Con todo mi perdón, te lo metes esa hamburguesa, ya sabes dónde. McDonald's, Burger King, me da igual la que sea. Five Guys y su madre. You know where you can put it, guys. All right. I hope you guys are listening. That would be awesome. El CEO de McDonald's ahora diciendo, ¿está diciendo que nos metemos nuestras hamburguesas por el culo? Exactamente. Absolutely. I think you should. Try it. You might like it. Maybe it's a new fetish. Burgerism. All right. But Chris, that's the shame there. Yeah. Everything has gone up. Let's see. Chris is participating in our pop quiz. And she says, could you tell me how long it takes to get to the nearest subway? That is correct. Could you tell me how long it takes to get to the nearest subway? All right, good. The next one. Could you tell me who those sweaters belong to? Okay, no es el whose, pero te lo voy a dar. I'll give it to you anyway, because it's correct. It's correct. So could you tell me who those sweaters belong to? Great. And the last one, would you mind telling me if there's going to be a Christmas party this year? Excellent. Chris. Excellent job. Wonderful job there. All right, let's see. Laura, she says, would you be so kind? Ooh, me encanta. Would you be so kind as to tell me how long it takes to get to the nearest subway station? Yes. Great job. The next one, would you mind telling me whose sweaters those are? Yes. Another one. And the last one, would you happen to know, da la casualidad, would you happen to know if there's going to be a Christmas party this year? Perfect. Excellent. Born to Iron Man is participating as well. Let's see what he came up with. Could you tell me how long it takes to get to the nearest subway stop? Yes. The next one. Would you mind telling me whose pullovers those are? Yes. The British call them a pullover. Are you wearing a pullover? I think they also call them jumpers. Si no me equivoco, we got to ask Rob Grams. Rob, if you're listening, do you call them jumpers? Or Ximena? Well, we call them sweaters, which is different than a sweatshirt. Sweater, te pica. Sweatshirt is de algodón, cotton. See, very different. They're both sweat, porque sudas, right? And I'm so a sweatshirt versus a sweater versus a jersey, what we saw before. And the British call it a pullover. Hey, that's a great double trouble. Pullover. I'm going to put on my pullover. You get it? Pullover. Échate a un lado de la carretera. Okay? Eso es muy importante saberlo. Si te lo dice un policía en mi país, pull over. Eso no te está diciendo que te pongas una Rebeca, right? He's telling you, ahí, que tenemos que hablar. Has hecho algo. I just wrote it down, by the way. Pull over. I need to put on my pullover. All right. And the last one. Do you know if there's going to be a Christmas celebration this year? Great. Wonderful job. Wonderful job over there. And, well, let's look at the direct questions, as I said. So, the direct question. Vamos a practicarlo todos. No hay que escribirlo, pero quiero que lo adivines directamente ahora. ¿Cuánto se tarda a llegar a la parada de metro más cercana? La parada cercana, ya. Ok, tenía que hacer juego ahí. How long does it take? O sea, esa hay que saberla. Esa es la directa. How long does it take to get to the nearest metro stop? Subway stop. Mejor en mi país. Okay. I think the British would understand metro, though. You know, because Paris. I think most people would understand metro, but we call it the subway. Okay. So, vamos con directa e indirecta. So, how long does it take to get to the nearest metro stop? La indirecta. Do you know how long it takes to get to the nearest metro stop? Acuérdate esto, cuando tienes una duda, la indirecta es la afirmación. Vamos con una pregunta muy fácil. What time is it? Is it es la estructura, ¿no? De una pregunta. What time is it? Is it red? Is it? De una pregunta siempre es is it. Ok, indirecta, le damos la vuelta. Do you know what time it is? ¿Ves cómo cambia? So, it is es la afirmación. It is 12 o'clock. It is 7 o'clock. It is. So, siempre cuando dudas, dices, pues, ¿cómo afirmaría esta frase? Y esa es la estructura. A little trick. Claro, cuando estás hablando, you know. So, the direct question, how long does it take to get to the nearest metro stop? The indirect, do you know how long it takes to get to the nearest metro stop? Number 2, whose ugly sweaters are those? Eso es la directa. Vamos con la indirecta. Do you know whose ugly sweaters those are? ¿Ves cómo le damos la vuelta? La tercera, la directa. Is there going to be a Christmas party this year? O is there gonna? Es como yo lo diría. Is there going to be a Christmas party this year? La indirecta? Do you know if there's going to be a Christmas party this year? Wonderful job, everybody. We've got to go to a quick commercial break, but when we come back, we've got a lot of stuff to cover on today's show with no name. So, if I were you guys, I wouldn't even think of going anywhere. So, stick around. Hey amigos, welcome back. Welcome back to part 3 of today's show with no name here on Vaughn Radio. A place where English is exciting, it's interactive, it's addictive. And this is just one of the many, many programs with the Provo Show with Rob Grams. That's right, the Provo Show is awesome. It's real English. And Rob likes to give a hot take, an unpopular opinion. Another way of saying that is a hot take. It's a great way to learn English, kind of like question of the week. You know, you discuss different things, and that's how you practice, talking about different topics. And that's just one show. You've got the Provo Show. Right after that, you've got Fitz and his program, No Excuses. After today's show, you've got Jimena Holiday and Test Your English. Then you've got the Lunchtime Show with Rob Grams and Andy Vaughn. And they're hosting our upcoming trivia night. Oh, yeah. Let me give you the date. I've got the date over here, and I've got all the information. Hang on. Let me find it. All right, here it is. The next Vaughn Radio Trivia Night is hosted by Rob Grams and Andy Vaughn. Mark your calendars. It's not Wednesday anymore. We've switched it to Tuesdays. It's Tuesday, January 14th. Tuesday, January 14th. You've got Vaughn Radio Trivia Night with Rob and Andy from the Lunchtime Show. Oh, and so two things have changed. We used to do it on a Wednesday. Now we do it on a Tuesday, right? Hey, things change. 2025, new year, that's what's going on. So we're going to a new venue and a new day of the week. A venue es un sitio, ¿no? Donde lo tienes. A venue is where you hold a concert or any kind of event. Great word to know. So the new venue, and it's a great place. I love this place, by the way. He estado muchas veces y he hecho eventos aquí. In fact, I had the 10th anniversary of the show with no name at this place, and I've done trivias there as well. And it's the Toast Tap Room. It's in Malasaña, bad lasagna. And it's calle San Vicente Ferrer, 33. So in English va el número primero, 33, San Vicente Ferrer. And it's at 8 p.m. So remember that. Tuesday. Mark your calendars this way. You won't forget. And it's your first event of 2025. And as I said, new night, new place. So you can expect it to be awesome. Tuesday, January 14th at 8 p.m. at the Toast Tap Room. It's calle San Vicente Ferrer, 33. And it's going to be at 8 p.m., hosted by Rob and Andy. All right, folks, time for Homophones on the Show with No Name.
Homophones on the show with no name. It's homophones time, cause homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the show with no name. The show with no name. Homophones on the show with no name. Cause homophones time, cause homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the show with no name. The show with no name. Show it no homophones. Show it no. Show it no. Show it no name. Show it no name.
That's right, folks. It's Homophones only on the Show with No Name. And here's where I give you 2 words. And today, you're definitely going to be familiar with these words. There's no doubt in my mind that you're going to be familiar with these words. The first word is ojos. Ojos. Okay? The second word is hielo. So you've got ojos and you've got hielo. Ojos, hielo. I know you know both words. You should know both words. And the second one as well is another way of saying diamantes. Piénsalo, que parecen los diamantes. Wow, he's got a lot of eso. So remember, in English, we're always, I would say most words, if you really, really look, si rebuscas, you'll find it has a double meaning somewhere, somehow. So the first one, a word you should all know. These are words my daughter knows at 5 years old. And the first one is ojos. And the second one is hielo. Okay? And you know what? While we're at it, como yo creo que es tan fácil, quizá no, I want you to rhyme a word with each one too. So tell me yes or no, and then tell me ojos rima con tal y hielo rima con tal. O si suenan igual, pues pon estas palabras riman con estas palabras. All right? That's your homophone challenge for today. Also, let me give you our Say What soundbite. It's a tough one today, but again, the harder it is here, the easier it's going to be there. Here it is for the third time.
And he said, Frank, do me a favor, will you? He said, I'm sitting with a very pretty girl, and I'm trying to make out, you know. And he said, I told her I know you, and she really doesn't believe me. Would you stop by the table? I said, all right. I was just about finished. I was down to the espresso. And finally, he went back, and I walked by the table, and I said, how are you, Don? Nice to see you. He said, can't you see I'm eating, Frank?
¿Quieres estar al tanto de todas nuestras promociones en la Vaughan Esfera? Well, now you can be in the loop. Puedes estar al tanto. Puedes enterarte de ofertas, novedades y eventos. Y mucho más. Puedes encontrar todo eso en grupovaughan.com/cursos destacados. Eso es, en grupovaughan.com/cursos destacados. Ahí tendrás toda la información de última hora. Guárdalo como favorito. grupovaughan.com/cursos destacados. And stay in the loop.
That's right, amigos. That's right. All right, let's go on over here to our chat room. We've got a lot of people participating over here. All right. Where were we? ¿Dónde estábamos? Okay, Chris Valro says, oh my God, we are praying. You may use a chair with some books to hold the desk. Yeah, but I only have one chair here, and I need it to sit. Thank you for the idea, though, but then I have to stand up, and I don't know if this chair fits. Either way, as I said, I have a big box in here, by chance, por casualidad, because Santa told me to hold it, right, to hide it in my office. And so I've got this huge box, and then I put conversaciones en inglés and speak basketball. So right now, my desk is being held up by another desk, que de hecho es una mesa para mi hija. So the desk is holding up another desk, and then there are some Vaughn books wedged in there. La palabra wedge, vamos a ver cómo se dice wedge. They're wedged in there. De golf, no. Palo de golf, no. ¿Qué somos? ¿Tontos? Wedge, really? No, ¿me das palo de golf? Como, okay. Calzo, calza, calce, cuña. Wow, a lot of different, okay? To wedge something is colocar, acuñar, calzar. Did you know that word? Wedge. And do you know what a wedgie is? A wedgie? Oh, those are painful. A wedgie, remember, I think this was more of a boys thing. I didn't see the girls doing this one too much. And this is when you go and you grab a guy's drawers, sus gallumbos, from the back, and you pull them up and you give him a wedgie, and his underwear gets wedged between his butt cheeks. ¿Me explico? No sé cómo lo llamáis eso en español. Es súper, súper maduro. No, but it's something we did. Wedgie. Right? Si te veían los calzoncillos, pues tiraban hacia arriba, and then it's called a wedgie because your underwear gets wedged between your butt cheeks. Hey, al menos ahora entiendes el concepto, ¿no? Queda claro, right? So, Chris says, well done. Yeah, hey, again, here the show must go on. What I couldn't do, though, was put my weight on it the whole time because it was, quite uncomfortable. So at least I imagine this is going to hold for the rest of the show. And then right after the show, I've got to figure something out here. I've got to find a solution somehow. Chris says, a new section, do it yourself. How to fix a table while you do a radio show. And being a man, remember, and I hate to be stereotypical here, but ladies, you multitask in general a lot better than we do, right? You give a man 2 things to do and it's like you didn't give him anything. He just gets lost. And as you saw, I was a little bit flustered, nervioso, but thankfully, as I said, I was able to put that there, and it looks like it's gonna hold. Let's see, Laura's got something to say about today's Say What soundbite, and she says, I heard the voice of a famous American man called Frank. That's right. And he's recalling how a friend asked him to come up to him and say hello to him while he was having a date to impress his girlfriend. That was perfect. Absolutely. He was using the other guy's pull, el tirón de Frank, de decir, oye, pásate por la mesa y salúdame, así ella ve que yo te conozco. You know, she's trying to use that. The other guy is trying to use him as a connection there, like, hey, check out who I'm friends with, right? And great, Laura, that's exactly what's happening. Chris says, Frank speaks a mile a minute. Oh, yeah, definitely. And he's got a lot to say. He's telling a story. And then I said, he said, and I said, and he said. Normalmente cuando cuentas una historia también lo haces rápido. Y él dijo tal, entonces yo le dije tal, right? And she says, but I'd say he's talking about a situation in which a beautiful girl was dying to know him in the flesh. Yeah, kind of along those lines. The other guy was trying to use his friend, you know, to hopefully get lucky. Triunfar, as you say in Spanish. Let's see. Chris says, yes, I don't know why I wrote French fries. I meant chips or crisps. Well, I just wanted to make sure you know the difference because, again, maybe I explained it wrong because that's why I said, Fera, voy a explicarlo por pasos aquí. And she says, the crunchy texture is very important to feel satisfied. But you know what? You want crunch, have some carrots. Zanahorias. Is there anything that crunches more than carrots? Or even crackers. That's even better. Crackers son estos galletas saladas, by the way, right? You have cookies, que los británicos dicen biscuits. We say cookies. Biscuits are what we give dogs. Good boy, here's a biscuit, right? But for us, it's cookies. And so, yeah, no doubt. Great crunch. Yeah, it's true. In fact, a lot of times when I make a salad, I'll add some of that crispy onion on top, right? And some sesame seeds and maybe some pistachios, and then it gives the salad a little crunch. And it's true. We love to have that crunch. I know personally, I hate mushy textures. Mushy textures are horrible. Mushy is, come on, no, like mayonesa. That's like mushy. Ugh. Creamy, mushy things. No, not my style. I don't care how good it tastes. Because people are like, tienes que probar esta mayonesa es diferente. I'm like, no es el sabor, es la textura. I can't explain it any clearer. But waiters, los camareros siempre, no, amigos, no, pero esta mayonesa es diferente. I'm like, ¿tiene textura diferente? No. Entonces estamos igual. Me da igual si sabe a chipotle. I don't give a damn. It's still mayonnaise and it still has that texture. And honestly, I guarantee if I tried mayonnaise, I wouldn't mind the taste of it. If I could stomach the texture part, because it's eggs, oil, and poco más, no? Well, again, the ones you buy in the store, I think they have probably about 3 gazillion chemicals in them. But the one my mother-in-law makes, la que hace mi suegra, that's the real deal Holyfield, as we say, lo auténtico. All right, let's see. Laura says we have to cut down on other expenses to be able to keep eating healthy. Yeah. Seriously. And you know what? The part that pisses me off the most is most people are more concerned with Broncano and Pablo Motos and all that bullshit, porque todo eso es distracción, right? And all we're hearing is, prices keep going up, salaries staying the same, That should make you angrier than any TV show, any politician, anything, any gossip. But no, people aren't complaining about that. They're complaining about, bueno, Pablo Motos está, el otro está. I'm like, these are really your problems? Really? or the problem is that you can't afford to live where you live, right? So, and while they have the left, whatever that means, and the right, whatever that means, porque eso es diferente en mi país, la izquierda, la derecha, que en España too. While they're fighting, they're robbing all of us. So stop fighting with people who disagree with you and realize we all agree on the same thing. We're being robbed. Doesn't matter what side of the spectrum you're on. You are being robbed too. So forget about Broncano. He's got his own problems. Forget about Pablo Motos. I don't think they have any problem buying groceries. They're not thinking about your problems, right? So all of that shit, when I see people like angry and fire, un hilo, ¿por qué? I'm like, pon un hilo de cómo han cambiado los precios en los últimos 2 años. Put that hilo. Put that. Put how much you could get for 100 euros at the supermarket last year and how much you can get for 100 euros at the supermarket this year. That's what we all need to agree on, and I'm sure we all do, right? So if you want to find some common ground with somebody who has nothing in common with you politically, there you go. There it is. So, but hey, Laura, I love how you summed it up. Me encanta como lo has resumido ahí. We have to cut down on other expenses to be able to keep eating healthy. Yeah. And in the United States, I remember seeing that years ago. O sea, yo vivía ahí hace más de 20 años. And I remember going to the supermarket and saying, oh, well, these apples look great. And it was like $2 for an apple. $2 para una manzana. And then I would walk a little bit more and I would see Twinkies, que es puro, ultra procesado, y la caja valía €1. $1. And I'm like, what's wrong here? right. That's when I said, well, why is everybody sick? Well, if people don't have money, they have to eat bad food, right? And that should never, that's the sign of a sick society, a very sick society. And I don't just mean sick physically. I mean, psychologically as well. DMB Bravo says, why English teacher? ¿Qué es la pregunta? Ok, te voy a corregir varias cosas aquí. Why do, con preguntas ponemos un auxiliar, why do English teachers, English con mayúscula, speak so slowly when they're teaching? I'd like them, not they, I'd like them to speak naturally. Otra vez te lo digo para que hagas las correcciones, porque estos son errores bastante grandes aquí. Okay, so why do English teachers, con S, English mayúscula, speak so slowly when they're teaching? The second part, I'd like them to speak naturally. Y ahora te contesto, I have no idea. I can't speak for other English teachers. I can only speak for myself. And if you think I speak slowly, you're obviously not listening to me. Listen to me. I don't shut up. I haven't taken a breath in 2 seconds, 10 seconds. So, me imagino que no hablas de mí. A mí siempre me han dicho que lo contrario. Que tío, whoa, slow down. Maybe you're talking about your teacher that you have. I don't know. Give me some context there, but I can't speak. I'm not the representative of the Teachers Association there. But I agree. That's why what I love to teach you guys here on the show is totally native English. I don't like to slow down. I like to use the real vocabulary that I would use, right? So to answer your question simply, I have no idea. Talk to your teacher. Habla con tu profe, yo diría en ese caso, right? Chris says, according to word reference, jumper is used in UK. Okay, I thought so, but I didn't want to tell you 100% without verifying it. So I've got my fact checker over here. My fact checker es la persona que mira, no, esto es correcto. Esto, bueno, técnicamente eran 10%, no 12%. Laura says, yes, they do use the word jumper in the UK. All right, let's take a look then. We've got people participating in our homophone section. Born to Iron Man gives us the 2 words, and he says they don't sound alike. He didn't rhyme anything with it, but also, you know why? I think because you answered before I added that part. So don't worry, Born to Iron Man. I imagine that's exactly what it was. So he says they don't sound alike. Let's see what the other students say. Laura says they're not homophones, I think. Ooh, there's a little doubt there. All right. Okay, Laura, you rhymed them right. So Laura nos ha dado una rima. And Born to Iron Man también nos ha dado una rima. Let's see who else. Chris Valrol. All right. Yes. All right. Well, folks, let's say both words over here. It's the best way to do this. The first word is eyes. Look in my eyes. Look into my eyes, and you will find there's nothing there. I don't remember the lyrics. You can't tell me it's not worth fighting for. I think it's Richard Marx. You know it's true. Or Bryan Adams. Everything I do. So look into my eyes. Eyes. Suena como ies. I latina, ies, right? Hay muchas ies en esa palabra. There are a lot of eyes. O sea, son homófonos. There are a lot of eyes in that word. O sea, there are a lot of eyes on me. ¿Ves? Igual. Okay, and let's see what you guys rhymed it with. Laura says eyes rhymes with rise. Absolutely. Born to Iron Man. Oh, me gusta. Quedando con el tema. Eyes rhymes with fries. Absolutely. All right, anybody else? Let's see. Chris says eyes rhyme with buys. Despedidas. Adios. Right? Good. Great job. And the second word? Ice. So, voy a poner hielo en mis ojos. Okay? I'm going to put ice. Ice es una S. Ice. On my eyes. ¿Qué pasa? No solo el sonido vocal, zzz versus s, but it's also la duración del vocal. Okay? So, listen. Eyes. You're holding it. It's not eyes, right? It's eyes. It's almost like a sigh, right? Bueno, rima. Eyes rhymes with sighs. Suspiros, right? Y size tamaño, que son homófonos. He sighs every time he looks at his size. Ahí lo tienes. And every time he does that, he gets tears in his eyes. The second word, ice. Dilos conmigo, muy importante en esta sección, ¿eh? Ice. Lice. Piojos, right? Spice. So tell me what you want, what you really, really want. I'll tell you what I want. The Spice Girls. Ice, right? Es una I, I, sonido I, pero es una I latina, cortita. Y no es zzz, it's s, como serpiente. So also it rhymes with dice, lice, rice, and many more. Excellent job in our homophone section. Yeah, you guys are knocking it out of the park today. Wonderful job. Let's see. Chris says carrot is perfect and all nuts. And yes, textures are important. Oh, yeah. Half of the stuff I don't eat is because I don't like the texture. And you know who's exactly like me? My daughter. I remember the first time I saw her eat something creamy. She was like, she does what I do, like, I don't like this in my mouth. It was so funny because my wife looked at me and she was like, that's you. And believe me, I have tried so hard not to put my problems into my daughter, right? As a parent, you're like, this is my problem, not hers. So anytime, Daddy, do you want some of that? No, I'm not hungry right now. I don't eat mayonnaise or I don't like onions, right? And the same thing happened with onions the other day, because I make her a bolognese, right? But I make sure the onions are liquefied because I like the flavor of onions. I do not like the texture. You catch my drift here? And she had a bolognese. I don't remember where we were. We were out somewhere, maybe with some friends, and she ordered a spaghetti bolognese. And in English, when we pronounce Italian, we don't say the last letter. Bolognese, mozzarella. Yeah, that's the Italian American. Laura, I know it's not the correct way, but that's how Americans do it. Prosciutto. It's prosciutto, but they say prosciutto. No sé, esto es otra vez. En Nueva York, well, your daughter, I'm sure your daughter can tell you about that Italian American. If you want to learn that, there's an FYI episode on The Sopranos where I take a look at all of those Italian words that have been Americanized. Braciole. Right, which is a kind of sausage, if I'm not mistaken, right? Braciole. So, but we always cut the last syllable off. I guess we think you do it. I don't know. But my grandma used to say, you want some mozzarella? Not mozzarella. Mozzarella, right? So it's funny. All right, let's see. And ladies and gentlemen, we have got a Say What soundbite winner after the third listen. Give it up for Laura. You got it. Wonderful, wonderful job. All right, folks, we've got to go to our final commercial break. We'll see if this desk holds. A ver si aguanta. Come on, 26 more minutes. And then the first thing I'm going to do is take everything off it. I don't want to lose my equipment or I have nothing. Believe me, this is an investment, una inversión. This stuff isn't cheap. Folks, we'll be right back. Stick around. Hey, amigos, welcome back to part 4 of today's show with no name here on Vaughn Radio. Wow, we've got a lot of stuff to cover, and time is just flying by as always. Holy guacamole. We've got a lot of stuff, amigos, a lot of stuff to do, but we'll get through it. Don't worry. We will. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. Don't you worry now. See, heaven's got a plan for you. Don't you worry. Don't you worry, child. Yeah. All right. Welcome back. Let's see. We've got a lot of people participating. Chris says, Laura, you knocked it out of the park. Chris, you sound totally native with that expression. Chris says it's Bryan Adams from the movie Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Well, have you ever seen the Mel Brooks? Que estábamos hablando de él ayer. Have you ever seen the Mel Brooks version? Robin Hood, Men in Tights. Men in Tights, Hombres en Mayas. It's great. Oh, in fact, there's a guy whose name is Blinken. And every time, cada vez que le saludan, they say, hey, Blinken. And they're like, Abe Lincoln? Abe is Abraham. Abe Lincoln. Hey, Blinken. So again, Mel Brooks, I'll say it once, I'll say it a million times. Watch every Mel Brooks movie and see how many jokes you can get. It's a great exercise for the holiday season. Plus, let's be honest, Mel Brooks is a master. All right, folks, it's time for Double Trouble. Yeah.
Double trouble, baby. Come on. Yeah, you know what time it is.
Give it up.
Double trouble. I said double trouble. Double trouble. I said double trouble.
That's right, amigos. It is Double Trouble here on the show with no name. And let's see what we've got for today's Double Trouble. Remember, you have to use the same word twice. I think today's is going to be pretty easy, but we'll see. All right. Te dije que no pusieras hielo en las bebidas. Te dije que no pusieras hielo en las bebidas. Estás pisando terreno peligroso. There you go. That's today's translation. You have to use the same word twice. As always, well, sometimes it's a triple trouble, but today it's just a double trouble. So, te dije que no pusieras hielo en las bebidas. Estás pisando terreno peligroso. There's your double trouble for today. Let's see if somebody can figure it out. And in the meantime, I'll give you our Say What soundbite for the fourth time.
And he said, Frank, do me a favor, will you? He said, I'm sitting with a very pretty girl, and I'm trying to make out, you know. And he said, I told her I know you, and she really doesn't believe me. Would you stop by the table? I said, all right. I was just about finished. I was down to the espresso. And finally, he went back, and I walked by the table, and I said, how are you, Don? Nice to see you. He said, can't you see I'm eating, Frank?
Listen carefully. Can you hear that? No. Listen closer. I'm not talking about the birds chirping. I'm talking about everybody speaking English and feeling comfortable. Listen. This is what it's like at Vaughntown, a peaceful place where you can really learn English and lose your inhibitions. There's a reason it's one of our star programs. Vaughntown, lose your fear of speaking English. If you want more information about this immersive experience, go to grupovaughn.com or give us a call, 911-385831. Lose your fear of speaking English and express yourself with clarity at Vaughntown. That's right, folks, our star program. I think Vaughntown and Vaughan Radio, those two things together and separately put us on the map as a company. You know, a lot of people believe that Vaughan started when the radio started, and that's not the case. It's very far from the truth. The company was in business many, many years before the radio started. I believe, I don't want to say the exact number. I'm sure Rob Grams could tell you, or even Dave Boyes, because he was here. He's been here since day one. Dave Boyes, the host of The Salad. All right, my amigos. So let's see what we've got over here. We're looking at today's double trouble. And let's see. Chris says, yes, I watched it ages ago. No, but I mean watching these movies now, knowing the English you know. You get what I mean? So I mean watching them with new eyes and new ears, where you're sitting there saying, if you did it, a year ago or 5 years ago, because I'd like to think that all of you have made tremendous progress since then. No, I know for a fact that all of you have made tremendous progress since then. All right, let's see. Laura's taking a stab at today's double trouble. Let's see what she's got. Laura says, I told you not to put ice in the drinks. I told you not to. Muy bien. Te puse el negativo del infinitivo aposta y lo has hecho perfecto. You rose to the challenge. Remember, to rise to the challenge. ¿Cómo es esto? To rise to the occasion. Rise to, let's see, rise. Oh, thanks, Google. Thanks a lot. Rise to the occasion. Ponerse a la altura, estar a la altura. That's rise to the occasion. And what is the other one I said? You rise to the challenge. To rise to the challenge, lo traducen como estar a la altura del desafío. Same thing. Estás a la altura. So, acuérdate, rise, it's rise, rose, risen, right? You know it from a song. Rising up, back on the street. I did my time, I took my chances. Went the distance, now I'm back on my feet. Just a man and his will to survive. You know it, right? And I'm sure you'll hear it in many other songs. There's even a group called Rise Against, one of my favorite groups, Rise Against. And what's the difference between rise and raise? Quite simply, something rises by itself. Think of dough, masa. Think of the sun. It does. You walk away and it's doing it. You don't have to like pull it up. It does. Okay, you add yeast, levadura, but it's doing it on its own accord. And raise, you have to do it. Everyone raise your glass. Levanta. Ahora tú tienes que actuar sobre ello. Right? That's rise versus raise. Y otra diferencia británica barra americana, un incremento. ¿Qué es eso? What is that? Well, that's a foreign word. Un incremento de salario. They call it a rise, a pay rise, and we call it a raise, right? So, entonces, para ellos, actúa solo. Para nosotros, te lo tienen que dar. Hey, that's a good way to look at the difference there. All right. Wonderful, folks. Wonderful. Let's see. So the first part, so far, so good, Laura. I told you not to put ice in the drinks. You're stepping on thin ice. I'm going to give it to you. Although it would sound more common to say you're on thin ice, a secas, to be on thin ice, or you're skating. Piénsalo, patinar, ahora que estamos en el invierno. So you're on thin ice. You're skating on thin ice. Now, if you say stepping, it's not really the collocation, but people will understand you. But just so you know, puedes decir directamente, puedes quitar el stepping de ahí, Laura, y poner, you're on thin ice. Es muy frase de padre también, no? When your kids are come on, you are on thin ice. Okay? It's also a song from Pink Floyd, The Wall. The Thin Ice, it's called. So if you're any fans, and remember, ice is not pronounced like eyes. We looked at that in our homophones. Let's see. Born to Iron Man. I told you not to put ice into the drinks. You're on thin ice. Great. Chris. I told you not to put ice in the beverage. You're on thin ice. Yes. All right, let's see. Laura says, I guess we'll have to buy Richard's autobiography to find out everything about Vaughn. Yeah, as I said, I can't wait to sink my teeth into it. Hincarle el diente yo. And she says, it's a pity it's not written in English, though. Or is it? I have no idea. I don't have it yet. So, good question. Good question. No sé si lo pone aquí. A ver. Vamos a ver. Let me click on it, Laura. Detalles del producto. Bueno, guys, just remember, you've got 10 days to take advantage of the Semana de Intensivo de Inglés. You can get it with a 30% discount now. Just go to grupovon.com. Let's see. Richard Vaughan nos invita a recorrer a lo largo de ese. I don't know. Good question. Detalles del producto. Tamaño. I can tell you the size of the book. Eso, me pone eso. 17 by 24 centimeters. Hasta ahí. Good question. Really good question. Puede ser en español, eh? Just because I imagine he would sell more copies. Creo que esto es una decisión, pero no sé, eh? I'm not sure if it's in Spanish. But obviously, if he puts it in English, all of those people in Spain that don't have a high English level are not potential customers, right? They're not going to buy it because they can't read it. So, I don't know, but the title's in Spanish. It's Richard Vaughan, de Texas a España, una autobiografía, la vida y reflexiones de un profesor y emprendedor. So, the title's in Spanish. Yeah, as I was just saying, the title's in Spanish, but I have not opened the book yet. You know what? You can ask. That's the perfect kind of question. You can ask them on social media, and I'm sure somebody will be able to answer. But as I said, I don't have a copy yet. No tengo un ejemplar aún. I can't wait, though. I can't wait to get my hands on it. All right, well, great job in today's Double Trouble. And now we're going to do You're Joking.
Thank you. Okay, what did the guy say when he walked into the bar? Ouch. Ouch. You get it? Ouch. He walked into the bar.
You're joking.
That's right, amigos. You're joking. This is a section where we learn English with a little humor. Now, as you know, we're always cracking jokes all throughout the show. But this one here, well, this one is where we make sure we get a couple in there no matter what. And we don't always do this section because, well, time constraints and all that jazz. But here we go. Let's see if you get these jokes. I've got a couple jokes up my sleeve, and I want to see if you get them. So, did I tell you about this, guys? I used to have another job before I started teaching, and I used to sell office supplies to the mafia. Yeah. Well, I grew up in the New York, New Jersey area, and where does Sopranos? We mentioned Sopranos before. Where does that take place? Right where I grew up. So, and my family's Sicilian. Were we in the mafia? No. Did we have to contribute? Maybe. I don't know. I'd never asked my great uncles, mis tío abuelos. I don't know. Los tíos de mi madre. I've never asked my great uncles, but I know that we were pretty protected. Their bakery, su panadería, they didn't have too many problems with the police or with authorities. So I don't know. Maybe they gave a little, like at the church, a little piece of what you make. I don't know. But I almost feel like, too, either you're with them or you're against them, right? So I don't know. But I used to work at like an office supplies place, and I would always sell office supplies to the mafia. I would sell them file cabinets, ¿no? Donde tienes los folders, los archivos, and also label makers, esto para poner etiquetas en todas las cosas. Yeah, I was involved in very organized crime. Crimen organizado, estaban organizado. Come on, that joke works in Spanish too. Organized crime. Be careful, because I've heard people say organizate, or I've heard people say a lot of variations. Organize is the verb, and the adjective is to be organized, right? So, you get it? File, cosas que te hacen organizado. I was involved in very organized crime. All right. Here's another one for you. You should never mess with cleaners who work for the mafia. Yeah. You should never work with cleaners, gente que hace limpieza, that work for the mafia. Well, why? Because they're all made men. No. They're all made men. Made? No. All right. Well, do you know, if you're a made man, eres parte. Te han hecho. Estás en el club. He's a made man. That means he's a mafioso. Okay? He's a made man. De hecho, hay una película que se llama Made with Vince Vaughn, Vaughan, como decís vosotros, and it's called Made. O sea, we're going to be made. Vamos a estar aceptados. Lo verás en Goodfellas. Hay una escena súper famosa en uno de los nuestros cuando le llaman al otro a decir, they're going to make Tommy a made man. He's going to be inducted into the mafia. But also a maid is someone who cleans, right? It's very different. Maid, como maid hecho. And the second meaning, which is a homophone, is maid, trabajador o trabajadora doméstica, criada, empleada doméstica, empleado doméstico. All right? Maid, a maid man, un hombre empleado doméstico. All right, I've got more, though. I'm not done. I've got a couple more. Did you hear about this? It just happened in the news recently. The feds, that's the FBI, feds, los federales, right? The feds have just raided a tennis club. Did you hear about this? Yeah, pretty recently. And it was being used as a front, right? A front es para cubrir otros negocios, ¿no? Es un negocio, pero luego limpian, right? So it was used as a front to launder. We don't say to wash money, we say to launder money, blanqueamiento, ¿no? De dinero, de capitales. So, this tennis club was raided, hacer una redada. Everybody freeze down! They raided this tennis club, And because it was being used as a front for a very large mafia organization. It was a racket. No? A racket, una raqueta is easy. A racket is also an illegal business. So he was convicted for running a racket. Llevaba una, a ver cómo lo ponéis, racket. Es un negocio turbio, un negocio, a racket, raqueta, sí, chanchullo, fraude, estafa, a dishonest business. And you know what? They made a huge racket. Hey, it's a triple trouble. Also, to make a racket is to make a lot of noise. So, racket, la más fácil, raqueta. A racket, an illegal business. De hecho, si te llevan a la cárcel por eso, you're in jail for racketeering. Okay, racketeering es como se llama. And also, what is that racket? ¿Qué es ese sonido? All right, amigos, there you go. I hope you enjoyed those jokes, but we've got a party to get to at Famous Birthday Trivia.
Famous birthdays for you. Famous birthdays for me. Famous birthdays for everyone on the show with no name. Birthdays for him. Famous birthdays for her. Famous birthdays for everyone on the show with no name.
That's right, amigos. It's Famous Birthdays here on the show with no name. Our first birthday girl was born in 1970. She is an American actress. She had her debut when she was very young in 1984. She was in the film Once Upon a Time in America. No sé si lo tradujeron igual. Érase una vez, Once Upon a Time in America. It's about crime. It's about the mafia. She was also in Labyrinth. Remember that one? That movie that came out in 1986. She was in The Rocketeer, not The Racketeer. That's interesting. So a rocketeer is a famous character. Somebody who's into racketeering, con una A, it runs an illegal business. She was also, I think this is where everybody just, she caught the attention of the whole world in Requiem for a Dream. Qué peliculón, eh? Difícil de tragar. It's a hard film to stomach. Tragar. We say to stomach. Also, she won the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress for her role in A Beautiful Mind as well. She was also in Blood Diamond. She was in Top Gun Maverick and so many more. Number 2, this guy, this IT guy, you say informático, we say IT. Well, he was an American inventor and businessman. He co-founded the Intel Corporation. You know, Intel, los de ordenadores. And they nicknamed him the mayor, okay, el alcalde of Silicon Valley, okay? And he was one of these people that was on the crest. Well, he got there before the crest of the wave. And, before Silicon Valley was Silicon Valley. And he was one of those people who was credited with, obviously, not just starting the Intel Corporation, which, as we know, is anywhere you see a computer, you see that word. But he also founded something called the Fairchild Semiconductor. Also, the Monolithic Integrated Circuit, or microchip made with silicon. So you could say that the reason it's called Silicon Valley is because of his invention. And that's why he's the mayor of Silicon Valley in California. And this guy is not a mayor. The next guy is the chairman of the board. The chairman of the board, a ver cómo lo traducen, el jefazo. They also called him Old Blue Eyes. Ojos azules de toda la vida. Ahí no es old como viejo, right? El director, el presidente, the chairman of the board del comité. And this was the guy who told you to Start spreading the news. I'm leaving today. Yeah, the one and only. And yes, since we're talking about the mob, another way to say the mafia, they say that this guy was heavily involved. I don't know. I just, now it's all hearsay, but hearsay, chismoreo, right? But, well, they say that he has ties. Ties son conexiones, vínculos con la mafia. He had. Now he's dead, unfortunately. He died in 1998. And we've got a winner. Please give it up for your classmate, Chris Valrol. Number one, actress Jennifer Connelly. Actress Jennifer Connelly. Number two, IT genius Robert Noyce. Robert Noyce. And last but not least, the chairman of the board, old Blue Eyes himself, Mr. Frank Sinatra. And that's going to bring us to, oh, by the way, fun fact about Frank Sinatra. He was born in New York, right? No. What? Are you kidding me? Well, actually, that song was sung by Liza Minnelli first. Did you know that? It's not even really his song. He's the one who made it famous, right? It's like Hound Dog. Yesterday, we looked at Big Mama Thornton. She was the first one to sing it, not the one to make it famous. Oh, it was kind of known, but Elvis just took it to the stratosphere, right? So Frank Sinatra. And here he is saying, he's telling a story about him and Don Rickles, another actor, comedian. And he's saying that Don said, Frank, do me a favor, will you? Me haces un favor? They were in a restaurant. I'm sitting with a very pretty girl, and I'm trying to make out, you know? Quiero ligar. I'm trying to make out, enrollarme. And I told her, I know you. Te dije que te conozco. But she really doesn't believe me. Would you stop by the table? And I said, all right. Yo dije, okay. I was about to finish. I was down to the espresso, tomando mi espresso. And finally, he went back, and I walked by the table, and I said, how you doing, Don? Nice to see you. And he said, can't you see I'm eating, Frank? So it's a very funny story, porque luego le dio largas. All right, let's listen to Frank Sinatra.
And he said, Frank, do me a favor, will you? He said, I'm sitting with a very pretty girl, and I'm trying to make out, you know. And he said, I told her I know you, and she really doesn't believe me. Would you stop by the table? I said, all right. I was just about finished. I was down to the espresso. And finally, he went back, and I walked by the table, and I said, how are you, Don? Nice to see you. He said, can't you see I'm eating, Frank?
All right, amigos. Thank you so much. We'll be back tomorrow. Ciao for now.